If you want true autonomous AI, you need an agent that lives on your machine, has persistent memory, and can execute code without restrictions. Today, I am showing you exactly how to install and configure CoPaw. CoPaw is a local-first, multi-channel personal AI assistant built on top of the incredibly powerful AgentScope framework. We are starting right here in Windows PowerShell. To kick things off, you just paste the one-line installation command directly from their GitHub. Watch the terminal. It automatically downloads and installs UV, which is a blazingly fast Python package installer, creates an isolated Python 3.12 environment, and installs all the necessary CoPaw dependencies. You don't need to be a Linux expert to do this. The script handles the entire backend setup for you in seconds. Once it says CoPaw installed successfully, you type CoPaw in it to begin the first-time setup. Immediately, you are hit with a massive blue security warning, and I need you to actually pay attention to this. Unlike ChatGPT or Claude in your browser, CoPaw is an agent that runs directly on your local environment. It has the ability to read files, manage your Discord or Telegram, execute terminal commands, and browse the web. If you give it unrestricted access, it can literally control your PC. This prompt is warning you that if you expose your CoPaw instance to untrusted users in a public chat room, a malicious prompt could trick the agent into doing unsafe things to your files. The recommended baseline here is to restrict which channels can trigger the agent, use a sandbox environment if you are testing dangerous code, and keep your API secrets entirely separate. We are running this securely on a local machine, so I'm going to go ahead and type yes to accept the notice and proceed with the configuration. Next, it asks for the heartbeat interval. This is one of CoPaw's best features. A heartbeat is an automated loop that wakes the agent up without you having to talk to it. I'm setting mine to 30 minutes with active hours between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. This means the agent can proactively check my emails, summarize news, or run cron jobs in the background during my workday. Now we need to give it a brain. The terminal asks for our LL provider configuration. I'm selecting OpenAI as the base for now and pasting in my API key. You can also configure Anthropic, local models via Alama, or open source models right here in the terminal. I hit enter, and just like that, the Uvicorn server starts running on localhost port 8000. We can now close the terminal and open our web browser to localhost:8000. Welcome to the CoPaw dashboard. It is incredibly clean and intuitive. But before we start chatting, we need to dial in our models. If you click on Models on the left sidebar, you'll see the provider list. While OpenAI and Azure are built in, I highly recommend using an aggregator so you aren't locked into one ecosystem. I am going to click Add Custom Provider so we can route our API calls through OpenRouter. This gives us access to hundreds of different models using just one balance. To set this up, I type in the provider ID as OpenRouter, set the display name, and for the default base URL, I paste in https://openrouter.ai/API/v1. Finally, I paste in my OpenRouter API key and hit create. This is the beauty of CoPaw's architecture. It is completely model agnostic. You are not forced to pay a monthly subscription to one tech giant. You bring your own keys, you pay a fraction of a penny per token, and you have absolute control over your data routing. Now that OpenRouter is connected, let's add our specific models. I click Add Model, and I'm going to pull the exact ID for OpenAI's newest release. I type in OpenAI/GPT-5.3-chat. I always jump over to the OpenRouter documentation just to verify I have the syntax perfectly correct. One typo here and the API call will fail. I copy the string, paste it into the model ID and model name fields, and hit add. This setup is crucial because later on you can assign different models to different specific tasks. You might want a heavy reasoning model like Claude 3.5 Sonnet for coding, but a blazing fast, cheap model for basic web browsing or summarization. Let's add one more just to be safe. I'll add MiniMax/MiniMax-M2.5, which is an incredible open-weight model for logic tasks. Once your models are loaded, you can navigate through the rest of the control panel. If you click on Workspace and then Heartbeat, you'll see the visual interface for the proactive scheduling we set up in the terminal earlier. You can adjust the intervals or change the active hours directly from the UI without ever having to touch a command line again. You can also manage your channels here, linking the agent seamlessly to Discord, Slack, or Telegram with just a few clicks. Let's go to the chat and test it. I type hello, but I get a yellow warning, LLM model required. This happens because even though we added the models to the system, we haven't assigned a default model to this specific workspace yet. I click Configure Model, go into my settings, select OpenRouter as the provider, and choose our GPT-5.3-chat model from the dropdown. Now, before we send a prompt, look at the Skills tab. This is where CoPaw turns from a chatbot into a digital employee. These are modular Python scripts. You have a coder underscore agent, a file underscore reader, a planner underscore agent, a browser underscore visible skill for web scraping, and even docx handlers. You can enable or disable these with a toggle. When enabled, your LLM has the authority to trigger these tools autonomously to accomplish your goals. Let's see it in action. I go back to the chat and prompt it. Let's plan on building a landing page, use your skills, and use the planner underscore agent. Watch how it responds. It doesn't just give me generic advice, it explicitly calls the planner underscore agent skill we just looked at. It breaks down my request and generates a hyper-detailed, structured SOP for developing a landing page. It creates phases: initial discovery, design, development, and testing. It assigns priority levels and estimated hours to every single task and outlines the exact technical dependencies required. It is literally acting as a senior project manager. Now let me stop right here. Having a local AI that can act as a project manager is incredible, but if you don't know how to deploy these workflows to actually get clients and make money, it's just a party trick. That is exactly why I built the AI Money Forge. We are officially at 175 members, and the community is growing every single day. Inside, you get my exact private automation blueprints. I show you how to connect these local agents to real-world businesses. The courses, make.com templates, and the direct coaching inside this group are easily valued at over $999. But right now, you can get in and start building your empire. Do not wait until we cap the group. Click the link in the description and join the Forge right now. To wrap this up, let's look at the official CoPaw documentation so you understand what you just installed. A lot of people ask how this differs from OpenClaw. OpenClaw is fantastic, but it acts more as a web server gateway. CoPaw is fundamentally different because it is built entirely on AgentScope. This means it is an enterprise-grade multi-agent framework designed for distributed execution. If you look at the head-to-head comparison, CoPaw brings robust semantic search memory across all your sessions. It features the Heartbeat proactive task system, and it natively supports multi-agent workflows right out of the box. You aren't just talking to one AI, you are orchestrating a team of specialized agents that live on your hard drive, keep your data 100% private, and route through whatever LLM you choose. This is the frontier of local AI. Follow this guide, get your instance running, and I will see you inside the AI Money Forge to show you what to do next. Hit subscribe and drop a like on the video.